cornerbacks. I'm passionate about this position. I always feel the Niners undervalue it. But real quick, it seems clear that the vision for this defense from Kyle to D'Amico was this year we're going to be more aggressive. We're going to play more man-to-man coverage. And I like that. That's what I would want to do too in an ideal world. But as we see, it puts a lot of pressure on your corners. And if they're not top flight, they'll commit a bunch of PIs and they'll really hurt your defense. And I don't understand how Kyle could say, I want to run, and D'Amico, I want to run this very aggressive man-to-man style, but we're not going to we're going to spend our second round pick on a guard and not a corner. It doesn't, once again, it doesn't match up the plan and the execution. You want to run this style? You should have Asante Samuel Jr. You should have Eric Stokes. You should have guys like that. Instead, you had Emmanuel Mosley and Jason Verrett and two rookies.
Hey, Mosley's played really well. Mosley's played really well. Mosley's played really well.
Until yesterday. He did not play well against the Colts at all.
Yeah. And
but he was on fire the last 2 weeks before then. But again, and now he's hurt. Like, you don't have that pedigree of corner right now. And Mosley's flashed. Verrett had nice games, but you did not really invest the way you needed to pull off this vision. You didn't.
So I'm with you, and I think the corners have actually outplayed the investment for the most part. I think they've been put in a lot of tough spots, and I think it makes sense. I think it makes sense from the standpoint of you look at the Niners when they don't play man, they're also a heavy cover 3 quarters team, which basically the Niners defense is built to take away the middle of the field, which is really a great thing to have in a modern pass game with all the RPOs and all of that. When you have a Fred Warner, you have a Jimmy Ward, you can take away that element of the pass game, but it also leaves your corners, if you have a team that's willing to take shots outside the numbers, it leaves them in bad spots. But I honestly, the corners have had it rough, and I'm with you on the investment. This is something you and I have talked about for quite a long time. That
if you want to play like this, you can't just
address this position. But you know what really frustrates me? Because if you're going to leave your corners in tough spots like this, you got to get pressure on the quarterback. And their defensive line, and it goes back to me, the biggest issue is that this is not just a cornerback issue. The fact that their defensive line that they felt that they invested in, they were going to have the best defensive line in football or whatever, it is an average defensive line in football. They have one special player in Nick Bosa. They have one very good player in Eric Armstead, and the rest of it is very, very mediocre. That's it. Mm-hmm. There's no other way of putting it. And Eric Armstead, he's a good player. He does not finish plays, so it's really difficult to get a lot of negative plays out of him, even though he makes a lot of positive impact plays on the game because he's just never been consistent in terms of finishing plays with sacks. Bosa, you could argue, is a symptom of the same thing, though he's finished plays this year a lot better than he's had, in my opinion, at any point in his career.
Better than Eric Armstead. Can we be clear about that? He's way better than Eric Armstead. Bosa is way better than Eric Armstead.
Yeah, I mean, Bosa is a top 5 edge in football. Eric Armstead is a top 20 edge in football, top 15. Yeah, there's a marked difference between the two of them.
No, I'm sorry. I don't want to talk about Armstead, though. Armstead is I like Armstead as an interior pass rusher, but him on the edge, he's a good edge setter. I don't want to talk about Armstead, though. I don't want to talk about Armstead.
But my point more or less is, Samson Ebukam, we didn't even mention him in our first D-line salvo. He's done absolutely nothing. This D-line doesn't impact the game enough, and a lot of times it puts these corners in tough spots. And if you throw the ball deep enough, I know we watch the 49ers, so we don't get to see it, but pass interference penalties are pretty easy to get in today's NFL. It's real simple. Have a receiver who can run by a corner. Once the corner gets out of phase, he's going to be running back to get in phase, so he's not going to watch the ball. Just underthrow the ball by about 20 yards. The receiver will stop. The corner will run into him. It's an automatic pass interference, even though there's no way in hell the receiver was going to ever catch that football because it's 15 yards underthrown. And so, the Niners have just been – teams have taken more shots at them. Philly, Jalen Hurts.
There's one more thing, too. D'Amico's pressure packages, they're not on the Robert Saleh.
They don't have any 5-man pressures. They don't have any
anything that's like a go-to. Nope, they don't.